Hello world, boys and girls, shine your light bright like diamonds and pearls. You could be anything in this world. Weight on your shoulder, let that pressure like a curl. Hello world, they got none know my name. They got none know my name.
Yo. Welcome to the CJ on the Spot podcast. We in the building, and like always, I have to bring on a special guest. But before I really get into who this man is, I thought I'd surprise him with a little bit of a clip of what he does, and that way you guys can understand why this man is one of the funniest mans I've ever met. So here we go. Check it out.
It's fun, man. Is America great again yet? I'll take that as a maybe. Okay. I was at the grocery store recently, and this like white guy came up to me, and he was like, "Hey, man, I'm trying to make stir fry tonight."
Oh no!
He's like, I got two sauces. I got a Mandarin sauce and a Cantonese sauce, and I can't decide what to use. He's like, can you help me out? And I was like, my bad, man, I don't work here. And he's like, yeah, I know, duh. But you got like experience with this stuff though, right? Man, I was so mad because like everyone stopped and stared and was like waiting for me to say something. And I was so pissed off because I knew the answer to his question.
All right, guys, I'm going to give you a little sneak preview of my guy, Mr. Daniel. Is it Plum?
Danny Plom.
Plum.
Yeah.
Danny Plum.
Yeah, like the fruit.
Like the plum. Oh, like the fruit.
But with an O.
With an O.
Yeah.
That's how he goes.
Yeah. I can't get enough of that clip because that white lady's laugh at the end. You hear that?
Yeah. It was like a little bit too much of a laugh. Like it was too racist.
It's how Karen should laugh. Like that's literally what she sounded like.
That's how.
Yeah.
That's how she sounds like. Well, first, man, y'all can give my boy a round of applause for being in the building, man. I appreciate you guys so much, man. This guy's in the building. He's doing big things, man. Wow. Yeah, I found that clip on your Instagram page because I couldn't find anything. You didn't have do you even have like a comedy album or anything like that right now? Or
Yeah, I have like on Amazon, Laugh at the Dark.
Okay.
On Amazon Prime. It's like on season 2. It got like 10 minutes on there.
Oh, okay. That's what's up.
Yeah. I got like TikTok. There's a bunch of stand up on TikTok. I don't like to post it so much because like, you know, sometimes it could be you want them to come to your shows.
Got you.
Even though we're like in COVID. I don't even know why I'm holding back. Like I'm like I should just start you know what?
Just
CJ?
post this.
Yeah, I might. I don't know.
Well, nah, because I have my boy. You might know him. You know Sean Grant. I don't know if you know Sean Grant.
Yeah, Sean Grant.
Yeah.
Very
He was actually the first person on my podcast.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, man. And he he had his Calvin album, so I played a clip off his album. And so, but he had it linked on his Instagram. I'm like, okay, well maybe Danny got the same thing. Danny got no, he don't. Like he don't. It just goes to his your shop. You have a clothing brand.
I just launched it.
Okay.
And because I started getting really popular on TikTok.
Okay.
And then everyone was like, "Can I get some merch?" And I was like, "I don't even know how to even start that." And then so they're like, "Just get some T-shirts and hoodies." And that's what I'm wearing now. I got like a T-shirt if you want to get one. But it's Plums. It's me. It's my username. I don't even know what it is, but
it's Plums.
Yeah,
That's
it's catchy.
You need to find like some type of produce guy and just like be the spokesperson for his plum. There it is,
bro.
Farmers market it, man. Look at it.
Plum juice, like
plum juice.
Yeah,
there it is.
Come on.
Wait, I don't know if that would mean if it was your name, your face, and it said plum juice on it. That might be a little bit, a little risque.
Hey, CJ, maybe you can promote it, huh? On your,
I'll promote it,
on
man.
Your taste testing adventure.
My taste testing. I will definitely do that. Okay, I would taste the juice that comes in the bottle, not your juice, but the juice that comes in the bottle. That's what I would be tasting.
Yeah,
I would do it for you, brother. Okay, so this is so funny, man, because I actually first met you. We got a gig together and I guess you can call it an acting gig, and it was literally like I think we were you were doing stand up, and then I was just supposed to laugh like that. That was like It was a bunch of different ones. It was like a little YouTube sketch.
Yeah, this was like what 3 years ago?
That had to be more than 3 years
Maybe
ago.
4. Dude, it was right when I started. Like I moved out to LA, and yeah, I think it was probably more than 4. I remember that audition too because it was like they needed a nervous comedian.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah. So they just had me do stand up, and I did like stand up, but then like, you know, acted like very improv and nervous and all that stuff. And they're like, yeah, they're like, cool, you booked it. And I remember getting on set, and I remember, we met there.
Yeah.
And it was like, it was the most fun time.
Yeah, we had a great time.
Yeah.
We had a great time. And I remember because I had to drive all the way from my house, which is in Linwood. At the time, I was in Downey, and I had to drive all the way out to Studio City and just to laugh. just do different laughs. And she booked me, and it was great. And it was my first real experience, like quote unquote acting experience.
Yeah,
doing something of just like there's the cameras, there's the sound guy. We were there for a few hours, but it was great. Everybody on set was fun. I always forgets Tiffany's last name, but Tiffany is the person, and somebody's trying to call me right now. I don't know who it is, but
it's actually very soothing.
It's very soothing, isn't it? You know, I love my ringtone sometimes. Somebody be like, "What? Whose phone is this going off?" It looks like 3 letters over there, so that could be my girlfriend. So, baby, I'm sorry if you're listening to the podcast. That was you that just messed the whole thing up, but it's okay. I love you still, but but it's okay. I'm the dummy that should put his phone on silent. Anyway, so yeah, we met on the show. I mean, we met on that show, and it was just a fun time. And then we got rebooked for another gig. Yeah, and it was for pretty much a trailer for I think a thing called it was called Pose or something with a P.
Oh, I forgot.
Remember they had to like do a pan over, and like they had you over there being like a comedian, and then like I would just like pretend to be like a director, and it was like this whole
Posse.
That's
what it was. The trailer for some show. Yeah.
Called Posse. Yeah. I remember she's like, yeah, if I get it, we're all going. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, I never heard of it after that. So I don't know.
That is show business right there.
Right? That is, like just rub my ego. But I had great food on set though. I ain't gonna lie to that. Like the craft was great. And that was the first time I really found out what craft meant. I'm like, what's craft at you guys are actually doing like paintings and stuff on set, you know what I mean? They're like, no, that means food. I'm like, okay, who came up with this? Why didn't you just call it like, hey, it's food time? Like, why all this weirdness? Anyway, that's beside the point. But all I want to say was it was just a fun time. We had a great time. It was fun. We enjoyed each other's company. And I'm just like, it's been so long since we even clicked up and even like hanged out, talked or whatever.
That was the last time I think we saw each other. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure too.
It was, I remember like, oh, this dude is so dope. His energy is like, like CJ was so, if you guys don't know, I mean, you guys know this is his podcast, but he was like, one of the most charismatic dudes out there, and he was so high energy. He was so decent. And yeah, now he's currently getting a knock, but it's fine. This is what show business is. We improv on the fly. It might be his Uber Eats that he totally forgot to, I don't know, maybe he ordered food. I'm not sure what happened. You ever just sit there and then like all of a sudden, like there's this random silence? I should let it go sometimes, but I'm just like, I can't not talk. But anyways, CJ's back now.
Yeah, I'm back now. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just getting all kind of interruptions today.
Your girl's calling you.
Somebody's knocking on the door trying to get me to vote for their candidate.
Oh, snap.
It was like,
was that what that was?
That was what that was.
I told him it was your Uber Eats.
Yeah, it was probably my Uber Eats. Yeah, I don't want to get Uber Eats. That's crazy. I am so sorry, man. That was so unprofessional.
It's all
good. So where were we?
Where were we? Just me talking about how dope of a dude you were.
Yeah, you know what? And you were dope too, man. Like it was just fun, man. I've never really had fun, and I always told myself I'm gonna hang out with more people like outside of my circle, and I just never did. And I'm just so mad because even Lartice, like I even follow Lartice.
Oh yeah.
On Instagram and on YouTube because he does his own like food thing on YouTube.
For sure. Yeah.
I think it's called like you better eat it or something like that. I forgot what it was. Sorry, Lartice, if you're listening, I apologize.
He makes delicious.
He makes good looking food though, and he's been riding with Tiffany for a while because he just did a thing with her called Roommates.
Yeah.
So they've been doing that for a long time, and which is going pretty good. But enough about me, enough about everything else and how we met. What is going on with you currently, man? Because I see you on the gram. You're always having fun. You're always doing something. I know you got a podcast as well, too. So tell me a little bit more about the podcast.
So, man, it just got really busy in like the last month.
Okay.
Yeah, like everything's just been, auditions are picking back up, comedy shows. Like I think every week I've had like an outside show, if not, and also like a Zoom comedy show.
Damn.
So the adjustment's been like hard, especially like early on. Like I'm sure it's every comedian has been doing the same thing, right? They had to adjust and do like Zoom comedy shows and like sit in your computer and watch clap emojis, right? Literally, and laughing. This is all we're doing. It's like, okay. And you can't gauge,
exactly.
So you're just going up there doing a monologue, 10-minute monologue, and you get off. But so it's been rough on that part. But the last month, like, it's been crazy. Like we just got back from Utah. Me and my friend Willie Mack, and we performed at this theater. I was hosting the show. It was like Utah was like the only place that was open.
Okay.
So that was like my first show with people, and it was like 200 people in these seats, and it was like one of the best things ever. Like it reignited like the flame, I guess. Yeah. So yeah, like we did that, got back from Utah, made a road trip out of it. Friend Reed Shannon was there too. Shout out to Reed. And we all just made like a fun time. And so my friend Willie and we started this podcast called Afro Noodles. I mean, it's very self-explanatory. I'm Asian, he's black. So Afro Noodles, right?
Like after noodles, you have those conversations, I guess. You know what I mean? Like after dark, but I guess after noodles.
Afro.
I like to.
Afro.
I know it's Afro, but I'm saying like.
after. Okay, got it. Yeah.
Is that not why? Is that not really why? It's just because one was
no,
okay.
Not it. I mean, that should have been why.
I thought it was a clever thing to say, like after this, but now no, it's Afro. I'm like, oh, that's clever.
Afro noodles,
but it's just literally just racist.
Yeah. I mean, it's literally the Tucker and Jackie experience without the crime fighting.
There it is.
So we did that, and then we just started recording it just for fun because we were really bored during quarantine.
Got you.
So we were like yeah, exactly, right. And then we like threw clips on TikTok, and then it started blowing up on TikTok. And then the Laugh Factory got really interested, and they were like, "Hey, we want to put you under our umbrella." And,
oh wow!
Yeah, and put us on this new podcast network. And then so that recently happened, and we just did our from this podcast, I just recently did another podcast, and where we were talking about that as well, like how the Laugh Factory just wanted to reach out, and like I don't know if it was to bring diversity or what, but now we're in there, and so we just had to record.
So what's the name of their podcast?
It's going to be the Laugh Factory podcast.
Okay,
network. Yeah, they're going to like push us heavy. It's launching October 31st.
Okay,
they're going to have like they're developing like their redeveloping their website.
Gotcha.
They're going to like push us. We're going to be the first podcast that they're pushing on their channel.
Okay, cool.
And then they'll just I guess. From what I know, they're going to throw us up. They're going to do the marketing and everything. And then, what do you call it? And then air the first 3 episodes of ours. And then they're going to, by December 1st, it's going to be like, I'm not sure the scheduling, but.
Got you.
But yeah.
Well, that's dope, man. Congratulations on that, man. That's what's up, dude. Just all off of TikTok, man. I've been getting so mad. And, I'm sorry. This is my little moment of my little like rant, because I'm like, because you don't know. I don't know if you knew or not, but my biggest thing is I want to be a host. And that's my whole thing.
For sure.
And when I see people like, okay, so you remember the show Double Dare?
Yeah.
Okay, so they recently brought it back last year. And the new host on the show, I'm just like, she's cool, but I could do that better. You know what I mean? And I'm like looking at her background. I'm like, okay, she has no hosting experience. I'm like, where did they find this girl off? They found her off of YouTube, off her YouTube videos. And I'm just like, okay, I guess that's what a brother got to do nowadays, is just like, because that's what they ask you. What's your social media following like? What's your YouTube like? What's your Instagram? And so I'm trying to grow that, more and more. But obviously, I have life situations. So I do so many different things. Yeah. But and all I'm saying is that fact of what you never know what can happen when you put something out. Somebody might just like, oh my God, I like that. Let's roll with it. You know what I mean?
Definitely. And I think that to piggyback off you, like I think you should definitely get on like TikTok and just host shit like you always do. Like, and the thing is with TikTok is that the algorithm is it's like made for, you know, people that don't have a huge following yet.
Okay.
So once you keep posting, it's all about being consistent.
Mm-hmm.
And then once a clip pushes in that algorithm, they'll take your clip and then it just blows up. So it's just about being consistent, and I think you would do well on it. So
I just never know what to do on TikTok
Do
or
what you
any
know
of
how to do.
any other things. I just don't know what the hell I would do like on TikTok, and then like, okay, now you're saying posting consistently. The funny thing is when you said, I'm like, oh, I forgot to post I was gonna do an Instagram post,
Yeah.
and I forgot to post it because I know I had to post it around 1 o'clock because that's when usually all the people are on, and now I'm gonna post it late. Now, or I gotta wait till 5 o'clock to post it again. So
Right.
it's just like, hear me forgetting.
I feel that.
So I'm just like always forgetting on some dumb stuff. But that's cool, man. I'm happy for you, man, that got pushed to the network and to the podcast network, and that's gonna be great. But you know, I mean, you've had success, you know, since you've been out here. I know you was on a car commercial. I don't know
Yeah.
if you can really speak on that, but can you speak on that?
Yeah. I was on. I did a bunch. Yeah. I mean, those are. It's funny because I didn't know, like, I didn't even like go into this being like, okay, I'm gonna start doing commercials.
Yeah.
You know, it was kind of just like I told you before when we met. Like, I just fell into it where they're like, oh, we're gonna start sending you out for commercial stuff, and I was like, all right. And I would just do it because I didn't care. I was like, okay, I'm a comedian. What am you know?
You're talking about your agency, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're like sending me out for everything, and I just kept booking it. And I was like, what the hell is this? Like, I didn't even know you can get paid on just doing like 10-second clips of yourself being silly, I guess.
Yeah.
And I always knew there was like commercials, but like I didn't know like people were auditioning
For commercials?
Yeah.
You didn't think that was the thing, huh?
I thought it was like,
Me
oh,
either.
you work for Aetna Insurance? Oh, cool. Let's grab a few employees and let's throw them in there.
That makes total sense
That's
to
what I
me.
thought.
That's what I thought too. So we're on the same wavelength on that.
Right. So then I like when I started auditioning, like Volkswagen, like the new Jetta or something, and then I got that, and then like Nintendo, and like all these jobs started coming through, and I was like, oh, this is a thing. And I was like,
Oh, you get checks from this.
I get checks. What?
Nice checks from this.
I get paid. What? And so on top of comedy, doing that, and then yeah, and just other like it just really came together, and I really enjoy it now. It's like because it's really easy to the fact that you can, I guess if I don't know what am I saying? It's cool, I guess, to be
Yeah.
marketable.
No, it's
You
great.
know?
I mean, you're marketable, you know, and you have a look that they like, you know, whatever that look may be. You know,
Yeah.
certain people, producers, and all that stuff. And you know, here's the thing, man. One thing I love to do on this show is, you know, one of my biggest things was how do I get started? You know, I was
Yeah.
like, how do I get started as a host? How do I get started? You know, there's people out there. How do I get started as a comedian? How do I
Yeah.
get started as a chef or whatever case may be? And some careers are not cut and dry. Like, go to school, do this, apply for jobs. You know, as a host, as a comic especially, it's just about running the rooms, you know, going to open mics, doing auditions and stuff like that. So you said that you got a lot of these commercials through your agency.
Yeah.
So how did you find your agency, and how did you go through that process?
That's a good question. So before I get into that,
Okay.
I also want to talk about what you said about like the chick that got that gig, and you're watching it and you're like, oh, this is terrible. I could totally, you know, I could totally destroy this.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that because I think people get started, you know, I guess in the wrong direction early on
Mm-hmm.
because there's, for example, I'm not going to mention the girl's name, but
Yeah.
she was a very big YouTube star and had a huge ton of subscribers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they gave her a late night talk show, right? And I'm sure you know who it is. You can read
I
between
know
the
who
lines.
it is.
But-
I think I know who
yeah.
it is. I follow her.
Right. But what I'm saying is that if you watch her show, it was, and this is why she has such bad reviews, is that you can have like the huge following you have, right?
Mm-hmm.
3.2 million, whatever subscribers, and then they give you a show, and then you're hosting that show, and then you're like, oh, they're writing comedic bits for her.
Mm-hmm.
They have a very strong writing team, but then once you get on camera and you perform it and you can't deliver, like so much of it goes into like timing and working on your craft.
Yeah.
And doing those open mics, like you said,
Mhm.
and going out there and really putting in work to where when those opportunities come, it matches the level where you're currently at.
Yeah.
So like when you watch her show, it's like, damn, no wonder she's getting, you know, I kind of like a bad rap.
Yeah.
Is because she was always this online presence, and she never did these types of, you know, and I think that can hurt you. So,
you know, I never thought about it that way because I mean, I guess I know who you're talking.
Yeah.
At least in my mind, I feel like I know who you're talking about. Obviously, we're not gonna say her name, but at the same time, it's like she got that gig, and you like you said, like it could have literally been like she just didn't know how to host, and a lot of people don't even know that.
Yeah,
like, that's a thing. I didn't know it was a thing. Like, oh, I can be a professional host. I can be a professional MC. And when I say MC, everybody's like, are you a rapper? Like, no. Stand for Master of Ceremonies. I know people don't use that language anymore. Yeah. But you're right, man. You're absolutely right, man. Maybe I should take that back. I don't know. Maybe I should take that back.
No, what I'm saying is it ties into like you saying, okay, like it really depends. If someone wants to get started as a comedian, I get a lot of DMs that are like, hey, how do I get started? How do I, you know, and when I tell them, like, it's funny when I tell them exactly how I got started, which is, you write, put pen to paper, write 5 minutes of whatever jokes that are personal to you, and it's going to suck. And then you take those jokes and you go to a mic at a coffee shop or wherever, and then you perform it in front of people, and then take what works and what doesn't, and do it again for a year straight. And if you still love it after a year, you keep doing it, and eventually things will just start to progress. Like that's what people don't realize, and then they're like, oh wait, it's actually hard work. Oh, never mind. And then they don't even reply back, and I just stop messaging back because it's like, guys, it's the truth.
And you're absolutely right. It's so funny because people are like, Carl, you should be a comedian. I'm like, no. And I'm like, they're like, why not? I mean, you're funny. Like, yeah, I'm in the moment funny. If I tell people I'm in the moment funny, I'm not a person like, you know how hard it is to write jokes? Like, you got to write jokes. Like, people just think, oh, I got life experience and this and that. I'm like, oh, yes. But to translate that to other people is totally different. Like, you know, you got to learn how to read a room. You got to learn how to, you know, maneuver audience, how you deal with hecklers, you know, and all this stuff. Like, there's professional hecklers out there. I mean, literally. I mean, Sean was on the show and he was talking about when he did the Apollo. He's like, I feel like they're professional hecklers. Like, like that's what they do. And it was just funny when he mentioned that. And but when you said, like, you know, just put pen to paper, this YouTuber that I follow, his name is Sean. And he's on this. He has this thing called Think Media TV. Yeah, and he does a lot of like reviews on not appliances, but electronics and like cameras and you know all that kind of sound equipment and all that stuff. But he said literally just press record. How do you get started on YouTube? Just press record. Right. Like, you know, and I was always in the beginning like, oh, this shit gotta be perfect. Gotta have this. Gotta have that. Gotta have this. Gotta have that. And you know, the two biggest things he always talking about is just sound quality. Yeah. And you know, just, you know, focusing on your who, what, when, where, and all that stuff. So, so just go to your point.
I love that because that reminds me, you ever see those like corny, like cigarette commercials, like wanting to quit? Yeah. And they just have the smoke of the start sign. Yes. It's like, just start. Yeah. Like it's really just that. It's super simple.
It's super simple, but you know, you take it for granted. I mean, it's a grind. It is literally a grind.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially in California, especially in SoCal, where almost you feel like everybody you throw a rock and you're gonna hit a comedian or or an actor or an actress or something like that. And it's hard, man. It's hard to make it in Hollywood, and even the little bit of success you had. Yeah, I know you're really thankful for it because, like, dude, like you understand, like right. I fell into it. Like I was like, it's like luck. A lot of it's just luck.
A lot of it is, like I said, so which brings me to how I got started. Like I start the same way I just told everyone to do it, is that you start writing your jokes, you start going out and performing, and you're not going to be good for a while. Yeah. You have to be okay with that. And so me writing these jokes, and 90% of the jokes I wrote back then, I don't do now, but you developed who you are over progression, over just constantly beating yourself up every day. I remember I was going to like 3 mics a night and I would go to work during the day, and then I would come home. I get up around 5, and I would go straight to the mic from work, which was 6, and I'd probably be home at like 2 a.m. or 3, and then every day do it again because there was only certain mics during the week. Yeah. So it was that, like, I guess, passion for it that helped me develop and get better and better. And because after doing that for so long, people start seeing you out and about, and they're like, "Oh, that guy was funny. Hey, do you want to do my show next Friday?"
Yeah.
And then so now I'm doing that show. Turns out it's at a club, and there was an agent there that was like, "Oh my God, that guy is really funny, and I want to talk to him after the show." And that's how I got started.
Oh wow.
And even that's exactly how it's like. Oh, you just never know. So put yourself out there in case those moments come. And that's really my point, is that you just have to be out there.
Man, that's crazy. I didn't know you got picked up from
Yeah, I was performing at a club. Someone invited me to do a show from a mic, and it was very busy, like audience, and I had a really good set that night. And then they came up and they're just like, "Are you represented?" I'm like, "No, I'm not. I didn't even know what that was."
Yeah.
I was like, "Am I representing like Asian culture? Like what?" Like, no, I'm just, I'm what? So no, they're like, no. Do you have like an agent? And I was like, no. And I was like, so I just met with them the next day and I was like, all right, whatever. I got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
And then these like auditions started coming in, and then
Did you research them at all before you even like went in there? No, you just went on.
I was just like, what? Do I gotta pay anything? They're like, nah. I was like, all right, I'm in.
And that's the thing that I got. Like, I'm looking into like, okay, man, maybe I should get an agent. Then I'm just like, okay, where do I go find an agent? And who do I go with? Like, like it's like, cause I get hit up a couple times, but like I try to check their background out. Like I see the reviews on certain things, and I'm like, it's like, okay, if it was like, it's only 15 reviews and 10 of them saying bad stuff about it. Like this is probably not legit. You know what I mean? So that is a bad thing. And I'm just like, yo,
Right.
That's just crazy. Like I've had a network hit me up about possibly putting my podcast on their network and on their app, but it was gonna be charging me.
Yeah.
I'm like, that don't sound right. I don't know if that sounds right.
No, right.
If
You're not
if I
really
gotta
charging
pay
me.
something for a service for you to push out, like, you know what I mean? Like, and once I got wind of how to do Instagram promotions, you know what I mean? I was like, well, I can just run a promotion for $20 and get a couple thousand freaking people to look at my post.
Yeah.
Like, it's just real that, you got the money, you got to pay for it. But that's cool, man. Like, because that's how that's how people, like, especially like actors or comedians want to get found. Like, they want to get found. Like, I was in the club and then this dude come up to me like, yo, I got to have you. And then there it is. Like,
the best way, I will give advice to whoever's listening and they want to do this, is that you shouldn't focus on getting found, because, if you don't focus on that and just focus on getting good and getting better, like, that will come. Like, you shouldn't want to rush it, because people think, oh, I want to be signed. Yeah, clap for that. There you go.
there it is. You need that one. You need that one, man.
Because here's the thing. And I talk to my friend Willie about this all the time. We're like, I didn't want representation for the longest because I wasn't ready. And if I were to get it and I make them look bad, if I didn't have a portfolio, right? If I didn't have material to be like, look, you can now pitch me as this guy, right? And that's what people should understand, is like, you got to get yourself a nice package of who you are. And then when people want you and they want to be like, yo, I want to represent this guy because this is who he is, or this is who she is, that's going to help you better in the long run.
Look here, DP, man. That's your new nickname, was DP. DP, that's what I'm going to tell you right now, man. You don't realize how much you just made so much sense to me right now. Like, I know it sounds like bullshit, but like, nobody's, really put in that perspective. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, I'm listening to you talking to people out there, but I'm also, taking it in too, because I'm thinking to myself, like, you gotta do it, CJ, because you just love to do it and you want to get better at doing it. You know what I mean? Like, I want to get better at being a host. I want to get better at, because I struggle at certain things still. And, I want to do that, and what you just said right now is just proof positive that it's just like, just do you and shit will come. Like, it will come, you know what I mean?
100%.
And, I never really think like that. Like, I'm like, oh, I got to put this out there. I got to do this, like, nobody's looking at me. I'm always focused on the negative part of nobody's looking at me. Nobody's really paying attention.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's like somebody might be paying attention, and I've been getting a little bit of, people like on my Instagram, like, oh man, I saw that video. I'm like, oh shoot, what? Like, okay, I'm just putting shit out. I'm not really like,
See?
But now it's it's starting. People are starting to recognize, starting to come. But it is about being consistent. Like I didn't post nothing all last week because I had nothing to post. And I'm like, what do I post? And like post something. I don't know what to post.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things. But
it makes total sense because I've been through that myself, and I would do a lot of research, and I'd be like, okay, but it's also common sense too sometimes, and we get lost of because it's like, why do we want to be like? I have friends that are like, oh, I wanna just post my stand-up clips, and I'm like, but you just started a month ago.
yeah,
And I'm like, it would hurt you if you posted that now. It just for the heck of content, but unless you want to be, like you want people to see it, and it's like not your best work, because you're gonna be a year from now, you're gonna be so different
yeah,
than where you at 2 months in. So it's like, it's things like that. But I think for the most part is knowing that early on, and then just having the willpower, I guess,
yeah,
to just stay consistent, like you said, because it does get hard.
yes,
And it does get, especially like with everything going on. Like if let's say, you want to rush shit, and it's like, I wouldn't be where I'm at if I rushed it. And sometimes it's like, you want to be able to showcase your best self, and if you can't, or if you don't, and you just want to rush it and you get into it, and then whoever sees you and they're like, oh, okay, I wasn't like, I guess they're not that good or whatever at what they do. And but then a year or 2 years from now, they're like completely like
different. Yeah,
So yeah, I think that plays a big part.
You're making too much damn sense right now, man. You just went deep.
My bad, man.
It's not
I know
so
this is supposed
bad.
to be comedy.
No, it's not supposed to be comedy, man. This is about just having a conversation between me and you, man. Just about what's going on in your life, things you're doing, and and maybe you can help some other people out there. And that's what this whole
the goal.
podcast is all about, man. Because you're saying some real stuff right now. Like you shook me a little bit, with a lot of stuff that you're saying. Because I'm just like, okay, it's just time to just do stuff, put it out, and just, some people will say, man, you don't have to put out something. You don't have to be your best work, but put out something, But at the same time, make sure that, the quality you're putting out is something that you're like,
Absolutely.
Is this something that's going to represent me in a good fashion? Even if it's a little bit bad, will it represent? Is it that bad where it's like, I don't know if I can watch that, or I don't know if that's really funny, but it's like, no, it's funny, but it's this little part right here you could tweak, but other than that, that's funny, that's cool. So, I get it, you know what I mean, and I'm starting to understand more. It's so funny because when I was telling you earlier today about that David Letterman, his new show on Netflix, pretty much just having conversation with people, and listen to him having a conversation with Dave Chappelle was freaking mind blowing. Like it was just the conversations they had were so real.
Yeah.
And when you see a different side of Dave Chappelle, I don't know comedic wise who people you look up to or who's one of your favorites, but Dave Chappelle earned my respect on a whole different level. First of all, I know Dave Chappelle was Muslim. Didn't know that. Like I really didn't know that. And because you wouldn't know.
You would never guess.
You would never guess. You would never guess. But he's been open about it, I guess, when he says certain things. But getting to a point in his life where it's like, I'm going to say what I want to say. And he put out a comedy special and it wasn't even that funny. He's like, and he even said like, this ain't going to be that funny.
No,
like, it's not going to be funny.
His last one, bro.
Yeah.
Oof. That was like only Dave. Only Dave can do this. Like, it's different because I look up to Dave a lot. Like when I was watching stand up like early on, like he was such just a master. He's a legend at this, So like him and of course Eddie Murphy, like Martin Lawrence, like all those guys have such a big influence on the game but Dave though, like only Dave cannot give a fuck and just go up there and just because like for example Kevin Hart can't do that, right? Exactly. Kevin Hart, if Kevin spoke on the things that Dave did, like he would get destroyed.
He would.
Kevin is like, because he's a CEO. He looks after people are under
so
his
many movies.
Yes, so it's very commercial for Kev. But with Dave, like Dave is like, that's why he's such the GOAT, is because he has that freedom. He can just go after it and speak that truth and find friggin' funny in literally everything.
Now, do you think? Now, I'm sorry to interrupt
No,
you,
go ahead.
but do you think like comedians like Martin Lawrence and comedians like Eddie Murphy, who had Eddie Murphy raw when he went raw on people and stuff that he was said, do you think that's why they don't come back out and do extra, like, do stand up or do a special? You know what I mean? Unlike a D.L. Hughley that's done a special in the last couple of years. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
what do you think of that?
I think that, yeah, you're right. One, they're conscious of their material back
Yeah.
then, and they're like, wow, how did I even say this? Like,
Exactly.
Like Eddie definitely had some of that stuff.
Yeah,
like,
he did.
Where it's like, if he said it now, oh God. But I think coming up now, I mean, for example, Eddie Murphy, if he came out now, I feel like he's still one of the GOATs. And I still believe like he would come out with something completely, and that's what the GOATs do. They adjust to the times, and they can. Oh, we got another one. Unless that's next door.
I don't know who that is. Hold on one second.
It sounds like your girlfriend is mad that you didn't answer the phone. Oh wow, that's a popo. Guys, this is not planned. This is all. So if you hear some struggling next door,
Yeah. There's police next door
I love this podcast.
at my neighbor's house. I don't know what happened. I need to get out of the hood. That's what happened. I need to get out of the hood. Oh my God.
Oh my
this
God.
has been the most interesting. This has never happened on an episode of CJ on the Spot.
This is great.
Never. This is the first time ever. I don't know what's first. It was the lady came to me speaking Spanish, trying to get me to vote for somebody in Spanish.
Senor.
I didn't know. Like, he's like, I'm like, okay. I'm like, yeah, whatever. First, because I thought it was a package. If it's FedEx, if you don't answer on the first knock, they're gone. They're gone, and you can't get your package till like tomorrow. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's what I thought it was at first, but it wasn't them. And then now it's just like, okay, then my phone rings, and I think it was my girlfriend. I was like, all right, now she interrupts, but I should have my phone off, and now the police is next door. But at least I'm not banging on my door. That's
Right.
that's all that matters.
What
They
are
ain't
you
banging
guys
on my
doing
door.
in here?
I don't know what's going on. I got some lights on. It looks dimly lit. They probably think I'm doing porn. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. But anyway. I don't know what's going on, but back to what we were saying. But there's one thing I do want to bring. I want to ask you though, because we were talking about the GOATs.
Mm-hmm.
Who is either your all-time favorite comedian, or you can give me a couple, and who's your favorite special? Because I know sometimes they could either be different or it could be the same.
Well, it's hard, yeah, because I have a few,
Yeah.
and I don't want to say. I don't want to say Bill Cosby, but
Oh,
I don't know if I can. But
I
look,
mean, it's not
look,
too soon.
Look,
If
okay?
he's listening right now, it's great.
Listen, Cosby was like the best cadence I've ever seen. Like, cause he's so slow and his pacing was
It's methodical. almost.
yeah, and I loved it. I love that you can go into a theater and just literally stroll in, sit on the couch, and just talk. And
he did do that, huh?
Yeah.
On that special, yeah.
so I love Cosby. I mean, obviously not his,
personal life.
personal life,
Yeah.
in the bars and whatnot. I know he owns a lot of pens, but
That was good.
no, but yeah, his comedy was definitely a huge influence for me. And Dave for sure, because Dave was so out there, and like Dave's last special really did it for me, because he talked about some real shit. Not the last one that he put out that was like a 12-minute one.
That's the one I was talking about, but I know you're talking
Yeah.
about the actual one he put out with
Yeah.
the jumpsuit. Yeah, I
with
know
the
you're
jumpsuit. Yeah, I
Yeah.
forgot the name. Gosh, but I mean, I don't know if that was the one he was shelving for like while he was in Africa, but that was literally one of my favorites.
with the ABC car.
Yeah,
Yeah, that shit was hilarious,
I mean,
dude.
God, right?
I couldn't stop laughing. I'm like, are you now? That's what I call. Like, the ABC people. Like,
Right.
like if I can't get like a distinction,
Oh,
I
man.
always say the ABC people now. Don't kill me. Anyway, continue, man.
No, that was pretty much those guys are like
Okay,
those are my top two.
got it.
Yeah, but for sure. I mean, those guys have such a heavy like, because I try to when you're watching stand up and because I'm obviously I'm not black.
Well, they'll see it on YouTube that you're not black. I'm black. You
yes,
know.
yes.
Mixed with blacker. I don't know. That's what I am. But
So there wasn't a lot of Asian comics.
that was actually gonna be my next question. Was you don't have a favorite Asian comedian?
I mean, come on, who do we have? Dr. Ken right now?
I don't find him hilarious at all.
Dr. Ken is like movie character hilarious.
He's movie character, exactly.
You
He
know?
is very movie character hilarious.
But his stand up is like, I don't know, it's different.
It was so funny. It's gonna kill me. I should do my research more before this podcast. But there was a guy I looked on Netflix. He went back to the Philippines and he did a stand up special. He wasn't that bad. Damn, I can't remember his name. I can't remember his name, but I've been trying to like get into like different comedian because everybody has a special now. Like damn near everybody has some type of comedy special on Netflix. I'm just like, okay. I watched another guy,
Right.
the one guy, he was on Crazy Rich Asian as well. He played like the brat cousin or something.
Long
like that.
hair?
Yeah, he kind of has long hair.
Oh, Jimmy.
Yeah. Didn't find his stand-up special funny. Like, I'm like, this is not funny. It's just not funny. Like, who is paying this guy? Like, it's not funny. How did he get a special? Maybe he's just funny because in this area, but do you feel like it's just not, is that not the market?
I think it's just, it's an acquired taste, I want to say, in stand-up, because a lot of people don't find me funny. Sometimes I can't please everybody.
Exactly.
And so that's why there's a demographic audience for each comedian. And that's why it's so important to be yourself, because, for example, like you might go to a Dave Chappelle show and laugh your butt off, and then like someone else might go to a Dave Chappelle and be like, "Oh, that's terrible."
Yeah.
They sat there and then laughed for 45 minutes. So it's just one of those things where it's like to each their own. That's why comedy is it's always a hit or miss for some. Like, I'll be real. Like, I remember when I first started, and there was a comic, and he straight up, like, I remember I was just starting early on in LA, and he's just like, bro, like, he's like, you're not, like, you gotta stop doing comedy that way, because it's not, that's not how you do it, right? Or you can't. And that's another advice too, is don't listen to anybody, because this shapes you. You shouldn't try to like bottle somebody for being different, because that uniqueness
What makes them,
is going to make you separate yourself from everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
So, I wouldn't have gotten this far if I didn't really keep at just being myself. And because if you want to do comedy, or you want to do acting, or whatever it is, you have to find your voice.
And I'm glad you said that, because one of my favorite Asian actresses, I'm gonna kill her name, Aquafina.
I love her. I
love this woman because her personality is just like, that would be a homegirl. Like, that would be like, yo, what's up, girl? Like, yeah, I almost seen every movie that she's been in. Like, I originally saw her in it was either a Netflix movie or something of that matter, but she was getting it in. She's kind of cute too. I ain't gonna lie. I'm just saying,
I love her so much. I would love to hang out with Aquafina.
She's just so cool. She just seems so down to earth, and I've seen her. Like I said, she was the main reason I even seen Crazy Rich Asian, and that was one of my favorite movies. I love Crazy Rich Asian. Like, it's just hilarious to me. It's fun. It's hilarious. It has to do a lot with culture. And speaking of culture, though, with how does your culture deem comedy in a sense, or how does your family feel about you making a career out of comedy?
I wouldn't know, CJ.
Oh man,
my grandma raised me since I was a baby.
Oh, okay.
And so, like, parents weren't around. Long story. Don't get sad, guys. It's it's all good. Like, grandma was like probably the best mom and dad I could have. Like, she like was like literally this old Cambodian woman who, like, she used to make me shower with like a bucket and a ladle. Like, fill up the bucket like half cold, half warm.
Oh wow.
And like, cause she didn't believe in, obviously, the little lever that just sprays down the shower. I was like till 13, I was just showering with a bucket and a ladle. And
like, where's it come from? We don't know where it come from. That's why we're doing a bucket and a ladle.
I didn't know until I slept over like a white friend's house.
Oh.
And they were like, "Oh, this is how you shower." I was like, "What?" When I say my whole life has changed when that moment happened, I was like, what? there's a shower. Like, this is so much easier.
Right?
So I'm like, what the? And I went back to my grandma. I'm like, what is this? She's like, oh, I don't know. I didn't know what that lever did. Or what if it like clogged the water? I was like, no.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that's hilarious.
But
I never knew that about your family aspect of it.
yeah. So
But when it comes down to the culture, though, like, how is it deemed in the culture? Do you think?
culture-wise, I think like from my take on having Asian friends,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's not, I guess, welcomed per se. Like,
Gotcha.
because Asian parents, from what I've met, like I was saying, from what I met, from what I've seen, right?
Yeah.
They are just so strict.
Yeah.
So like, if their kids were pursuing comedy, it's always like, they're definitely against it. They're definitely like, there's no monetization to this. There's no, what does the outlook look like? This is what you should be doing. Lawyer, doctor, nursing. So these are valid career choices versus like with like comedy and acting, it's like, it's all up in the air. And I think that's, so culture wise, I think they enjoy comedy. Don't get me wrong. I really do believe like
They enjoy it,
Yeah.
but not enough for them. Like, no, y'all should be doing it, though.
Yeah, I feel like they're like, oh, that's only for them. Like,
Because I heard of that before. I've heard of that. I mean, like, a lot of Asian families, they look down to a certain degree
right.
on stand up or acting or anything like that. Maybe if it was more like artistic, even like, I think even more of like an artistic thing, they probably more for like, whether it be painting or sculpting or something like that, where it's a little bit more, monetization, like you said, like, I can sell this, so this is what it is, versus the things where you have to sell yourself. I think is the problem in that. But it's not even just, I've learned that in the Nigerian families, that a lot of Nigerian families are kind of like that too, where it's just like, hey, you need to have this kind of job, because it's really representation of the family. I mean, the mother and the father, what the child does. So that's been, so it's not just, it's not just an Asian thing, but I mean, you have a lot of different kind of friends. You have especially doing comedy, you have all kind of different diversity of friends and stuff like that. And can you tell me where do you feel like has been the place you've had your best set at? Do you feel you've had a best set? Like, I don't know if I killed that. Like, that was amazing.
Honestly, it's so hard to I guess to assess that type of stuff.
Got you.
Because for me, it's like, I thoroughly enjoy just being on stage.
Okay.
So like, and a lot of my friends are different. They're always hard on themselves. They'll be like, oh man, like, and I would watch them. I'd be like, you did great. And then they're like, no, it was like, I bombed. It's like, you didn't bomb. It's just like, I think for me, it's like, if I get on stage and I like had a great time, like, I won that night.
Yeah.
So I don't really gauge it on like, oh, my best set. Like, have I had like sets where it's like, oh man, there was like constant laughter?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. But like, I've also had sets where it's like, there'd be like long pauses, but like, I was like really connected with like this small crowd of like 15.
Yeah.
Versus that show I did that completely destroyed at a theater, right? With loud laughs and all this stuff. It's like, I prefer the 15 because it's like, I can really look this person in the eye, ask them a question, make a joke from that, and then bounce off ideas, and then go back to in between sets. And it's like, that's what I love. I love improvising on stage.
So you do a lot of crowd work?
I don't do a lot.
Okay.
But I enjoy, because I have, there's a lot of like ideas in my head that I'll just be able to bring out that I've already written down, right?
Yeah.
So they were already like pre-jokes, and then like, if an audience, like, if I see something that ties into that joke, I can like literally bring it out in conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what doing reps helps doing for it. It's like, you're able to adjust on the fly. And so that's why open mics are so important early on, is that you get to literally, like, I remember, oh man, this takes me back. Like, my first show or first mic I did in LA was at this Marina Del Rey restaurant.
Oh, wow.
I remember I got off of work and I ran right over there, and there was this chef, and he was like, I was doing my set, and then the chef just started like singing in the middle of my set in like in Spanish. he just starts going, and I'm like, ah. Everyone laughs, right? This guy's getting down in the kitchen, like just because the kitchen was like super loud.
Yeah.
And he just interrupts me, and I'll just kind of like, hey, can you come out here and do this set and just sing a song? And then like he came out and sang a song.
Wow.
And just started performing. And that's the stuff that's like, you don't want to be afraid to just go for it.
Yeah.
And when you're free like that on stage, I think that's the best for me. It's like just being able to not give a shit, you know?
That's your form of not giving a shit. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I love that, man.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Such a freaking delight, dude. So, okay, so today, real quick, I want to tell you that something special I'm going to go do today. So when this podcast airs, I've already done it. So today I'm actually going to go try something new on my CJ on the Spot reviews. And I am going to be trying some chili lime crickets.
Ugh.
So the question was going to be, what's the weirdest thing that you've ever eaten? I just want a fun fact about you.
My grandma would like growing up, obviously, like she tried to feed me like chicken liver and
Ooh,
like,
wow.
and like tripe, which is like sheep's stomach.
Oof.
But that's the weirdest thing I've ever eaten. Like she tried to give me crickets, I never ate it. And
oh wow,
she's
she
like,
did.
oh, they taste like, you know, chips. And I'm like, no, grandma, they don't taste like chips. I swear to God, they don't taste like chips.
Chips don't have faces.
Yeah. I'm like,
oh my God, I am kind of like I'm excited, but at the same time, I'm like, I hope I don't throw up. Like,
let me know how that goes, CJ. Oh
well, you'll
God.
see it on the post. But
Ugh.
I'm just like, I said, you know what? This year, 2020, try new things. And before we get out of here, man, how's your 2020 been going? Like, has it been that much of a struggle? And the reason why I'm asking, because I was talking to some people, and how I realized, like, I feel like I'm winning in 2020.
You know what's
but that's
weird?
just me.
Bro, you just, like, it's a very weird feeling, because, like, 2020, like, the pandemic happened.
Yeah.
And, like, all of us, we were supposed to be super busy with, like, this new outlook. We got a ton of, like, this new year, you know, we're going to kill it. And then it paused. But to be honest, I feel like opportunities have came because of this. Like, if it wasn't for COVID, I would have never gone on TikTok. If it wasn't for COVID, I wouldn't have, you know, again, got the mass following that I did. And then all of a sudden, we wouldn't have started Afro Noodles podcast. We wouldn't have done, you know, we wouldn't have had like a bunch of TV network meetings that they wanted to create a show about us. Like, that's... Like, all of this happened because of COVID, because it trapped us to force us to create. Yeah. And it was like I get it. Like, the pandemic was, you know, like,
it was bad.
It was really bad. Like, people were, you know, dying left and right, and other countries were doing better than us because obviously they were, you know, wearing masks and doing all these things. And we just were so ignorant. We Americans were just like, no, we're not going to do any of that. We want to be free. And it's like, then we're, you know, so this is what's happening. But I think that it's been a blessing, but also not. So how can you say that with, you know what I mean?
I don't know. I'm saying with complete confidence. Like, I'm winning in 2020. I don't know what to tell y'all. I'm winning. I'm up. I mean, you know, the things that I only thing that's bad, the things I really would like to do, I couldn't do. Like, I love going to movie theaters. Couldn't do that because they were closed.
Right. I miss that too.
Last year, I worked for the Conan O'Brien show for Team Coco House in San Diego for Comic-Con. I saw that. And I was looking forward. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah. I was looking forward to going back and hopefully getting asked to go back, because I didn't know if I was going to be asked to go back. And that would have been like a contestant, like, okay, they asked me to go back. Okay, cool. Now I know I'm good at what I'm doing. Yeah. And, you know, I didn't get the opportunity because of COVID. So, my first concert I was supposed to go to this year didn't go by because of COVID. So these are the things like I want to do, but everything else, man, I've again, you know, I started my podcast again, like a different podcast other than the one I already did. And then, you know, I actually met my girlfriend, you know, with the tail end of 2019 right into 2020. And we've been getting closer ever since. You know, thank you. and then, you know, and I was able to get equipment to update my sound quality for my podcast. I was able to get a nice little camera so I can film continuously. pay some back bills, do some stuff like that I want to do. So I'm kind of up. I'm collecting, Ninja Turtles, as you saw, because I have a fetish right now.
Super dope.
It's a Ninja Turtle fetish.
I'm nerding out with you.
Yeah, so that's one of the things. But before we get out of here, man, any last words of wisdom for the people out there who are tuning in or watching on the YouTube? What you got? Some last words of wisdom for them?
Oh, wisdom.
Or not some wisdom. You may not have to be wisdom.
You know what? Do what you love, guys, and don't have people's words, set so heavy on your hearts. Just keep pushing, and I know it gets tough, whatever you're doing out there. So just especially during these times. So just stay true to yourself. Try to still smile and have fun during these crazy times. And also, follow me on social media.
Yeah. Actually, I was going to tell you, plug yourself, man. Go ahead. Where can they follow you at, man?
Plums on all things, I guess. Oh, yeah, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok if you have it. Mostly, like, teeny boppers, but that's okay.
I'll link it all in the description, too, so you guys will have all that. You can always, hit me up, DM me if you need to know his direct stuff, and I'll hit you up with it. Not his direct line. I'm not going to give you his direct number, ladies. Okay? I'm not going to do that, all right?
Hit me with a text.
You can slide in his DMs, though. But, man, once again, man, thanks, Danny, for coming on the podcast, man.
Hey.
I appreciate you so much, guys. I hope you guys enjoy yourself. This has been CJ the host. CJ on the spot. We out.
Peace out.